Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We're here with another Lions War video. This is going to be Season 59, War number 7, and AOH has matched up against Next. We are on a 2-war losing streak, so we would really love to break that streak. But as the title says, we are going to have some shenanigans happen this war. And unfortunately, I am going to die this war, so just wait till you see that a little bit later. But it wasn't really for, like, a skill issue. I mean, I would argue I made one mistake in the fight. And it was not a mistake that should have killed me. Because it was like a split-second reaction where I had an opportunity to save the fight, but all of the sketchiness came from bad RNG or bad AI. Well, or maybe I'm just making excuses, who knows. But we're going to start it on path 4 here. We're actually fighting Barrowman Defender. One thing I was keeping in mind is that I was trying to limit the use of medium attacks in this fight, just because I know that it is an RNG stun, and if it fails, I will get crit fail damage on me. So I was trying to do as many lights as possible. We went for a double SP1. I don't think that was fully necessary, because this is going to be, like, way overkill, but by, like, 300,000 or 200,000. So one SP1 probably would have killed, but we did the safe thing, and I ended pretty healthy, so I'll take it. We're going to be taking this same Nick Fury that I believe it was last war that I took. No, actually it wasn't. It was 2 wars ago, because last war I was on path 7, section 1. It was 2 wars ago. And this is a pretty straightforward fight. This was the 3rd time I've taken it. Either 2nd or 3rd. But at this point in the season when I'm recording this video, because these are late. I apologize, but they are a bit late. I need to slow down because I keep, like, mumbling, which is strange. But at this point in the season, I've taken it 4 times. I've taken it either an additional 2 times or an additional 1 time, depending on which try this is. But it's a pretty straightforward fight. You're going to try to save your relic for the second life, and you're going to abuse the fact that Nick Fury's AI will never throw special 1 while he is unblockable. So, and by the way, there goes our invulnerability boost, because he decided to just throw special 1 into my block. I mean, the AI knew he would go unblockable, so it's not really the same thing. There, I tried to beta dash and hit him with a striker. He did not want that to happen. So here, we're going to make him go unblockable. We're going to wait out the unblockable. And, yeah. I mean, we're still really healthy. We're still taking this pretty safely. Getting to that SP2 was actually really clutch, because I don't think throwing an SP1 there would have pushed him to special 2. But the first life is always really simple. I mean, anyone in the game can take Nick Fury's first life, even, like, the worst science champion. But it's the second life where it really gets sketchy. So what you're going to want to do is, obviously, you're going to want to keep pushing Nick Fury to his special 2 the best that you can. You're going to want to intercept him a lot to minimize block damage. Here, he decided to be annoying, so I'm not going to waste my striker just because I really needed it to push him to the special 2. But in this case, I'm actually just able to end the fight, so that's pretty nice. And we end at full health. But I was saving that in case... I was saving the striker either to help me push to the special 2, or if I needed a knockdown, he was unblockable, not losing his charges because he is the permanent Fury, you know, try to get out of a situation like that. And we'll go over to section 2 now, and we're going to be on path 1 fighting this Attuma. I believe it was last war that I took this fight. This seems to be a pretty common place for Attuma, and I'm pretty sure the only logic behind it is that Shuri and Negasonic will both time out if they try to take it. I don't think there's anything else going on here. I'm pretty sure it's just a trap that very few people fall for. Because, I mean, to be fair, those are the normal counters to Attuma. So if someone can't read or something, if they're illiterate, then maybe this gets a kill. And yeah, pretty straightforward. The first time we took it, I think he actually ends up going unstoppable a few times, but definitely not on this attempt. He has no concussions, which means he's going to be triggering the Thorns less because it's RNG based. But yeah, really straightforward fight. That was only a rank 3, but we actually had some loading issues here, and I almost disconnected. So I waited for a bit, and then eventually it did load. It loads right here. but that was very scary. I was worried that a 30-second fight would have resulted in a lost attack bonus due to a disconnect, but we're fine. Now we have a pretty cool fight. We have Shocker on... What's the regen node called? Buffet. That's what it's called. On Buffet, we're going to be using Angela, and as soon as we get our 3 buffs, Shocker will not be able to nullify us anymore. He will not be regenerating. He doesn't have the biggest health pool in the world, and Angela hits really hard. So this fight is not going to be an issue. The only problematic part of this fight is the start, because obviously you're going to lose your initial buff, but because we have a PS1, we get all of the buffs back as soon as we throw a special. So now we're already at 4 buffs despite hardly doing anything. We're going to try to make Shocker not throw a single special 1 if we can, because he's just easier if you only have to deal with the special 2, and yeah, it hurts a bit on the block, but we have some regen to take care of that. Here we tried to go for light intercept. He did not want to do that, but I think here we're going to hold our block. Yeah, he does go for a heavy, so we're just going to keep spamming special 1s. In fights as short as this, it doesn't really make sense to go for a special 3, because it wouldn't, honestly, it wouldn't speed up the fight whatsoever. And then there he actually goes for the second hit. And I think we're just going to end the fight here. We might bait the special 2, but it's totally unnecessary. It looks like we are. Oh, no, we're not. Okay. Yeah, 3 hits. I figured it was going to be something like that because Angela hit so hard. And a little bit under a minute for rank 4 Shocker. I will definitely take that. So now we'll go over to our mini bosses, and we're going to be taking 2 mini bosses this war with my main account. First up, we are going to be taking Mix Master Weapon X, and this is a fight I've taken a couple times now. I think this is probably the 3rd time I've ever taken this placement, and the first 2 times I took it, Bastion was not in the game at the time, so Shocker was like a really good option. Now, it depends. I would not send a Bastion specifically for this fight if he wasn't taking anything else. But I do think Bastion is obviously a better option than Shocker for this fight. But Bastion was actually banned this war. So I didn't even have the opportunity. I had to send Shocker. And obviously I'm very comfortable in this matchup. What we want to do is we want to get as close to the special 2 as we possibly can by not letting him throw a special 1. Until, just so I can get as much power, right? Because what you want to do here is you want to not hit him. You want to dex around and do like slowed combos like that just until his charges run out. So now we're going to be dexing in the corner for a bit, hitting him a couple times when it's easy. And here his charges are about to run out, so we're going to dex, beta heavy, medium, light, SP2, and he is dead. And yeah, sure, it gets a little bit sketchy with the matchup basically requiring that you just trap yourself in the corner. However, I'm very comfortable doing that against Weapon X, against aggressive opponents, because the issue with dexing in the corner actually comes when the AI is being passive and not when they're being aggressive, unless they have a double medium or something like that, in which case aggression is the problem. But we have a pretty cool fight here. We have an Omega Sentinel on node 45. This placement actually makes a lot of sense to me because she is armor break immune on this node, so the only way to remove her armor ups would be by blocking her special attack hits. But what we're going to do is we are just going to alternate our combos so that she hardly ever gets armor ups. The only armor ups she could get would be from me blocking, but yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Gonna bait the special 1. Normally you full dex the special 1 because it's really easy to full dex. The reason I'm not doing that here is just because it's a free way to remove a few armor ups, and I would rather that than save a little block damage. And then here we hit a pretty nice heavy, pretty nice crit. The only reason we're throwing special attacks here is, well, 1, to get our fury, but also because we want to reset the and then there I didn't want to risk it by going for the dex, but I forgot that Omega Sentinel places the incinerate on block, but because the duration was 0, as soon as the pause went away, then she just, like, it just went away instantly, so it barely did any damage to us. But I forget what I was saying before I interrupted to talk about that incinerate off the SP2, but I honestly forgot what I was talking about. That is it for my main, so now we'll get to my alt. We are actually going to be splitting Path 9 in Section 1 because we needed Hood to take this Dark Phoenix on Node 9, which is a pretty tough placement. And because we're splitting and we're not able to clear together, I am going to be using 6-hour boosts. And then we'll just have to reuse some class boosts later, but that's not really the biggest deal in the world. And I've taken this fight a few times. We do have a PS1 for this fight. I actually only had one Power Start one, or I think I had two actually, but I didn't want to use them. So this is going to be the only Power Start one I use in this war. Yeah, I only had one, but I was able to buy another one right here, so technically I had two. Anyways, this fight's pretty straightforward. The last time I took this fight, it actually went very well. I got really good RNG. We kind of only get average RNG in this fight. We do get a few ruptures at the start, and obviously we are losing some health because they tick pretty hard. Actually, I'm at 100% health. I shouldn't say I'm losing health. And then, yeah, we only have to hit 9 times before we get the Fate Seal on the L2, and we got 3 out of 9 DOT debuffs. So there she threw the special one, which is really unfortunate because it kind of messes up the cycle. But it's not that big of a deal. Here we can heavy counter heavy. Gonna bait the special 2, or maybe actually not bait the special 2 and just get our invisibility. That's probably safest. But like I said, at the start of the fight, before we got the Fate Seal, we got 3 out of 9 DOT, which is 33%, and you're statistically supposed to get it 40% of the time, so we technically got a little bit above average RNG. And here, unfortunately, we did not fail the immortality, but I actually did full dex the special 2 in route, which was pretty cool, because I'd never practiced that. That was the first time I'd ever attempted it. And because her special attacks are unblockable when she has immortality, you have to full dex it, and I actually pulled it off. I mean, to be clear, I definitely would not have died had I eaten that special 2, but it was still cool I got the dex. So then we did have that guy clear the second fight, Node 18, and I don't even remember who it was I was doubling with. I would shout them out if I remembered, but I don't. And now we're on to our path fight. So we're going to be fighting this Nova. This is a terrible fight. I don't know what was wrong with me. I know how to counter his heavy with a heavy. It's 2 dashbacks, instantly charge heavy. For some reason in this fight, I do it wrong like 3 times. I genuinely could not tell you why. And then there I just walk up to him, let him hit me. Now I'm faltered again, and I'm like, there's no chance I die to a Nova, right? Like, there's no way. And now we're going to start getting it back, but I'm not done taking hits. I think I end this fight around 50% health. This was just such a pathetic, terrible fight that I don't even have words for it. Like, it was actually just miserable. And, like, right here, what are you doing? You know it's two dashbacks. I know it. So what am I doing? I don't know, man. I'm glad I did not die to this fight, because that would have been maybe my most embarrassing death ever in, like, a super ideal matchup with Hood. That would have been embarrassing. That is not the fight that I died to, and I guess because I didn't die on my main, you'll know my death is on my alt, and it is with Hood. But now we have this Ebb and Flow Intercept Sentinel. Hood is one of the best Sentinel counters, if not the best Sentinel counter in the entire game, because none of his damage is resisted by Sentinel other than basics, and that's less than 50%. That's probably like 30% of Hood's damage, with 30% being specials and probably about 40% being the burst damage from your heavy attack. And also, when Hood is invisible, he ignores a certain amount of armor. So while you have the invisibility up, you're going to be doing a lot more damage anyways. So yeah, Hood, very, very good counter for Sentinel. this node just kind of encourages it to, so I'm not sure what the logic was behind this placement. But yeah, that heavy attack gets him down to 1%, and then the striker does finish it off. And we do have a couple minis, 2 minis, and a boss this war as well, because we are taking a rank 4 Arnim Zola Boss for the second war in a row. And we're going to be taking this destroyer here on node 39. This is basically, I don't really understand this. Destroyer doesn't really get buffs of his own. I think the only one he gets is, he gets a power gain. Does he get anything else? I don't know. Anyways, I know he gets a power gain. But we're just going to be abusing Dex to get as much power as we can, hitting those light attacks to make him stand still. You can intercept in this matchup because you have the safety net of your invisibility. That's not really a problem. And then as soon as I throw my first special, the fight is over. We actually had a visual bug in this fight where my invisibility was not showing when I throw my first special too, but right here you are going to see the proper invisibility icon. Not icon, like the character image. But the first time it was kind of funny, it just didn't work. And he just looked normal despite the fact that he was invisible. But very, very easy fight. I'm pretty sure that was actually a rank 3 destroyer, which is kind of an uncommon defender to see on the map if he's only rank 3. He's kind of in the tier of defender that if you're going to place him, he better be rank 4. He's doing nothing. And anyways, this is the fight. This is the fight. Node 46 Knull. This is the fight that goes wrong. I'm going to have an invuln boost on. But unfortunately, I'm going to forget how to count to 3. How to count my invulnerability boost hits. We're going to start off the fight with a couple heavies. I don't really know what it is on this node that is increasing his combat power rate, because I thought that the power gain thing was only supposed to be for power gain effects, but there, unfortunately, my medium ender does get a power steal, which pushes him under a bar of power, and despite the fact that I'm blocking, he throws it instantly. So we do actually fail the inverted controls, so the fight's not starting off that terribly. But if Knull keeps throwing special 2s, that is how the fight is going to go wrong. Or, sorry, special 1s. And there we get hit. I knew I got hit by a heavy. I didn't know I got hit by both hits of the heavy. I thought only one hit connected. So in my mind, I still have 2 invulnerability hits, right? And at this point, medium got 0 power steals. There, I decided not to go for a medium ender because it was going to push him to a special 2. I thought about baiting the special 2, but I thought it was more consistent that I go for my special 2. And then I throw my special 2, and I get 1 out of 5 power steals, none of which were on the last 4 hits. The last 4 hits, I got 0 power steals. It is a 40% chance. That means that a 60% chance to power steal triggered 4 times in a row. Or sorry, a 60% chance not to power steal triggered 4 times in a row. And that's what pushed him to the special 3. So now we're eating the special 3. At this point, I thought this was my 3rd invulnerability boost hit, because I tanked the first special 3 and took no damage. And then I tanked that one, and I was like, oh, this won't deal any damage either, right? Wrong. And at this point, it's still savable. This is still a savable fight. We need to push to the special 2, and we need to bait it. We do that. We dex it, even though I'm inverted controls. And at this point, all I need to do is get my invisibility, throw 1 special 2, but he throws his L1 into my block. Like, man, you can't make this up. The first special 3 I ate was because we went for a medium and got no power steals, which, to be fair, was a mistake by me. It was a tactical mistake that I did that, because it was not safe enough to risk pushing Knull to the special 2. The second one was because I failed 4 power steals in a row that pushed him to the special 3. What's the chances of that? Let me just open a calculator real quick. So it's 0.6 triggering 4 times in a row. So 0.6 exponent 4. Give me a second. I'll just talk about it while we load into this fight. They updated the, let me just do this. You guys can't even see this. It's a 12% chance, just so you know. 12% chance that the last 4 hits of the L2 don't power steal, and that's what happened in the fight. And that was the moment, that was the moment that basically sealed the fight, because Knull could have thrown his special one into my block at any time. That wasn't really that significant. But now, we revived, we took that Knull down. We have another Zola Boss, another rank 4 Zola Boss. This is the second time I'm taking it this season. We do, unfortunately, eat the end of the special one there, so I did lose out on some, on one of my invuln charges. And then there, I don't know why I went for that. I went for a heavy countering his heavy. I know that doesn't work because his heavy has so many hits in it, so it was kind of stupid that I did it. But I'm pretty sure those are the only hits I take in this fight. I could be wrong. Maybe I do get hit again, and I just don't remember. But here, yeah, we hit a nice medium. There, in hindsight, because I'd only consumed one of my misses, I could have gone for another medium into the striker, into the heavy, because I would have removed all the charges anyways, no matter how many he had, because he would have been under 10. And yeah, as long as we keep cycling L2s, going for the heavies, we're going to be fine, because every L2 heavy does over 100k, plus all the hits you're doing throughout the fight. So here we're actually able to go for 2 special 2s back to back, which is really great, and we get a big chunk of damage there. And yeah, it does hurt a little bit when this guy does throw his special 1, or sorry, his special 2, because he places that degen on us. But it's arguably better than him getting a bunch of energizers. There's an argument to be made, at least, that it's better. And then here we decide to bait the L2 because I'm very confident countering with the heavy. And at this point, with 10% health left, all we need to do is place some hexes, get back to 1 more special 2, and the fight is going to be over. And here I do have the opportunity to do that. Go for the special 2. And that is another Zola Boss soloed. There we go, with the heavy. I was waiting for the heavy attack to connect. So that is it. We do solo the boss. Did drop 1 death earlier in the war, which kind of sucks, but it's not the end of the world. And we did lose this war. Unfortunately, we keep up the loss streak. GG's to Next. They actually had a really good performance with only 6 deaths. But we are now 4-3 on the season. I have 4 deaths now total, 3 of which on my main, 1 of which are on my alt. My PSR is 86 out of 90 fights soloed so far, with 41 out of 44 on my main and 45 out of 46 fights soloed on my alt. And we reset the Deathless streak to 1, because Zola's the only fight I've soloed at this point since my last death. I have a 17 fight active streak on my main and a 1 fight streak on my alt. So that is going to be all for today. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.